Hey y'all, what's up? How was everybody's spring break if you had a spring break? Because now we're adults, you don't really get those. But if you have kids, then they were on spring break. So, how was everybody doing over the past week? All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to say what the internet doesn't really say often. All narcissistic mothers are pygmies. I'm going to straight out say all narcissistic mothers are pick-me's. Pick-misha, whatever, right? All right. I'm gonna flat out tell you up front, I am a product of a pick me narcissistic mother with a narcissistic dad. So I am a keep a nigga baby. All right. A lot of us out here, if you have a narcissistic mother, know up front you were a keep a nigga baby. And that narcissistic mom of yours, much like mine, failed to keep a nigga. So what does that mean? That means she really wants to get rid of you and throw your ass in the trash, quite literally, but she can't without losing face around friends and family. So she pretends to be a stand-up mom until she literally can't take it anymore. And usually you'll start to see her mistreatment like super begin openly when you're prepubescent. So when you're about to step into that realm of becoming a woman or a man, right? And you start to come into your looks and your youth is just glowy, right? They will make sure that they sabotage you in these ways that are very hard to detect. So I wrote down a couple. I always come with my little notes, right? But in my case, my mother would refuse to compliment me. So she wouldn't teach me how to put on makeup or anything like that. So I had to learn. Meaning what? I'm sure there's times I walked out the house looking like a whole ass fool. And she said nothing because it pleased her that I didn't look good. I know there's times where even now when I do look good, right? You will never get a compliment from that mother. When you accomplish something really big, whether it's academically or anything like that, you're not going to get a compliment. They'll be like, okay, well, like that. They'll never be like, good job, that's excellent. You should be very proud of yourself. They'll never do that for you, right? They'll always find something else that you could be doing. Oh, that's great, you got an A in art. I mean, you really need to go in the government, though, when you get older. Like, you need to go in the government. That's great that you're a successful artist as a grown-up, but you should get a government job. I mean, what are you going to do when it's time to die or something? You're not going to leave no money to your kids? What you going to do? Right? They will never compliment anything. Right? Here's another one. She intentionally didn't teach me how to cook. My aunts can all cook, which means what? Her ass can cook. Okay? But why didn't she teach me how to cook? I cook way better than her now, but it took me basically falling off a cliff, rolling down every sharp rock and crevice that I could before I hit the bottom to learn how to cook. I had to literally learn everything important trial by fire, okay? She didn't teach me how to cook. Why? Because they want to turn you into a pick-me too. They're not going to let you surpass them. If they're a pick-me, which they are, they want you to be a pick-me. How would you be a pick-me if you're talented, beautiful, and can cook? The fuck? They can't let you do that. So they need you to not know how to do shit that's important. Okay? They need you not to know how to self-care. They don't teach you how to care for yourself. They don't teach you as a little girl how to wipe properly or, basic things that you should teach your children. They don't really teach you that. They figure you'll figure it out. Right? And at some point, they kind of leave you on your own. Again, it's that prepubescent stage. They don't talk to you about sex unless some narcissistic mothers are molesty. I'm grateful I didn't have that aspect in my narcissistic mother. But some are. Some will sexually destroy their children, whether it be to give them to a man that molests them or whether they themselves do that. Narcissistic mothers are disgusting ass pick-me's that try to usher you into failure from a prepubescent age. All right. Another one I have. Um, well, this is when I got older, but she called CPS on me. I thought because I was in the eye of a storm of being stalked by my narcissistic ex, right? And in the eye of the storm, when the stalking was at its peak, like at its all-time highest of the high that it was going to get, you know what I'm saying? That's when she decided to call CPS. Now, of course, she did it strategically because it looked like he was doing it. And I did blame him. I said he must have done that shit. But no, man, it wasn't him. It wasn't even him, baby. It was my mom. She thought that what I needed in the midst of a really grotesque, demonic storm that threatened me and my children's livelihood was for CPS to be called so that I just had one more brick on my back. Right. That explains why the lady came from CPS and she was looking around like, I don't even know why I'm here. Because my home is pristine. The kids are happy as fuck. Everybody's beyond well fed. And I cook 4-star fucking culinary masterpieces for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I even send that shit to school like that. My kids don't even eat at school. They eat, I pack them. Well, my son doesn't want to anymore because he's too cool. He's a teenager, but you know what I'm saying. But it turns out she's the one that did it. And get this, not only did she do it, but while knowing and watching me scramble to find out who the fuck did this shit, she was the one on the phone going, wow, yeah, that's bad. Knowing that it was her. It didn't stop her from taking $1,000 from me to fix her dentures that were broken at the top. It didn't stop her from accepting me finding her a new apartment when she was basically homeless as shit. Right? Living with my aunt. She took all those things, she accepted all that help from me, all the while knowing that she was the one that was calling CPS. Shit like that. They hate you as a mother. Okay? Narcissistic mothers hate you being a mother. If you're a man with a narcissistic mother or dad, guarantee you, if you marry somebody and y'all have kids, they're going to hate your wife simply for being a mother, for being a good one on top of that. All right. What's another one? My mother got me, she would get me things to take them away. She got me a cat. All right. She got me a cat. I named the cat Tommy. And then this is when I was little, of course, and she got it for Christmas. So she got it for Christmas. And we all know how narcs like to ruin Christmas. But a narcissistic woman, let alone a narcissistic mother, is way more sinister than that. They're not going to be sloppy and ruin the holiday on that holiday. They're going to get you something and then destroy it. So what she did was she got me the cat for Christmas. And then in less than 2 weeks' time, I came from school and the cat was gone. What happened to the cat? Oh, whatever. I gave him away to an old lady or whatever. Anyway, and kept talking to my grandmother like it didn't matter. My feelings didn't matter. The cat didn't matter. The fact that I love that cat, I would catch her beating the shit out of my cat, like holding him up by the tail, just beating the shit out of my cat. And she would say, oh, he ate the bread or something. I'm like, okay, it's an animal. You brought an animal into your house and it did some animal shit. Boo-hoo, right? But anyway, so she beat the shit out of my cat and got rid of it. Speaking of animals and narcissistic mothers, she got us evicted. When my son was like 2 and we had to live with her, she quit her job on purpose. She got us evicted. And she didn't know it was going to backfire on her, so she ended up homeless and shit. And she had gotten my son these 2 goldfish, right? And he loved these goldfish. I love these goldfish. I mean, they were so spoiled that you could just reach in and like touch them, right? But when she got us both evicted, that's what made me have to live with my narcissistic dad in North Carolina, right? I found out later on from a neighbor who used to live underneath of us that after I left, my mother threatened to sit the fish on the side of the road in the mid of summer, meaning summer heat, so that they could boil alive in their fish tank on the side of the road unless my neighbors agreed to take them. Which my neighbors did, but they were incompetent and like super elderly and the fish died anyway. Shit like that. She sabotaged a job that I recently applied for. I applied for a job that was foolproof. it was to be an in-home caretaker, right? And I was going to sign up to take care of her bitch ass so that at least I was close by, I could still pick up the kids and all of that. And all it required was for her to apply, right? She claimed she applied, and she claimed that they told her you have to wait 45 days for it to be approved. But miraculously and mysteriously, after 45 days, there was no approval. So when I finally figured out a way around her to give them a call, turns out what? She never even applied. She knew I had been waiting 45 days for a job that would have allowed me to have the freedom to be there for my kids at the drop of a dime. She did all these things, you know what I'm saying? To make me like lose my home, lose my children, lose my sanity. Last one, but not least. Which I didn't lose my home or sanity. But did you know the reason why I'm blonde right now is because of her manipulation? I used to have a mohawk, dude. I really enjoyed my mohawk, dude. It was like a cool pink. Anyway, she said, you know, she claimed, because she had pretended to be a psychic. That's a whole other story. But she knew I wouldn't smack her down if she said she called a psychic or something, because I know that there are spiritual things out there. And she claimed that she had spoken to the psychic, and the psychic said that I wouldn't be able to obtain a job unless I had changed my hair. And that seemed reasonable enough. So I grew my hair out as long as I could stand it. And she said that I was to dye it like lighter. So I dyed it fucking blonde. She said I was also to stop drawing my eyebrows on, which I used to love penciling them in. I still did it some today. I started doing it again. But and if I wanted to, you know, be more presentable for a job. Turns out, ain't no fucking psychic. And I changed my whole appearance. They will try to make you change your appearance by subtle hints that basically shit on how you look right now. Okay? Turns out, bitch, haha, joke's on you, because it helped me look better than I was looking anyway. So anyway, but those are just a few things. And by the way, it's not just narcissistic mothers. It's just they're way more insidious and slippery with that shit. Okay? But all narcissists hate mother figures. All narcissists do. Every last one of them hate it when you see your mother. They hate it when you become a mother, even if it's their child. They hate their own mother. You know what I'm saying? And they hate their children for becoming mothers. And they hate their children for marrying someone that became a good mother. Case in point, my dad right now sent me a text that he made it clear that he's disappointed that his wife's mother, who was in her 90s, won't die. Why? Even though that lady has been kind to him and lets him stay at her home whenever he needed a hotel, whenever he came into DC, he still is disappointed that woman won't die. She had been in hospice, but she got so strong, literally, that like they released her back home. And his text said, wow, it's been 7 weeks that she hasn't eaten. I can't believe she's lasting this long. Anyway, I'm here with me and the cat. Tell you something? Anyway, this was just a story time. There's no advice in this. I have zero idea why they don't like mothers, okay? I don't. But narcissists hate mothers, and narcissistic mothers are really demonic. Anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you're enjoying sunshine somewhere. All right. Bye.